What to think of this? Pile of sticks fell out of the tree and all landed in place. But strange looking. Guess that wraps it up. But I can't help it. I had to come back. I didn't see this when I was up here last weekend. I was out on the point with the parabolic, spent the night. Following day, spent some time there, packed up, and on my way out, I came down this way and walked up through, and first thing caught my eye was that busted piece of tree that was suspended in them two saplings. It was easy enough to understand that there's the other busted part at the bottom, so it fell in there, and over a period of time it finally rotted and fell off, or it broke when it hit. But either way, the other piece of tree was there. If there was no other piece of tree there, well, then it would be stranger. But this has been bugging me. Recently, on Pine Island Research podcast on the Untold Radio Network, he had a guest, the Michigan Aboriginal Project. Very interesting, great guy. So I subscribed to his channel. And I've been watching his videos from the bottom up. That happened after I noticed this. There are 14 individual pieces to this. You have a main beam, which is a dead stick leaning against a live branch off this American Elm. The live branch extends out and still has leaves. These leaves that you see here are from a smaller branch here. It extends down. Connects right there to the main stem, which then connects into the base of that American elm. So in fact, it's a secondary sapling coming out of the base of it. There's actually two. You have the main beam, you have another main beam that's smaller, and then this other small stem that comes up, breaks off. I can see where this has been here a while, rubbing against that tree. You can see the wear. Then we have this twig, which is broken on the end. It's caught on a knot right here underneath of the main beam. Nothing there. Travels over to here and then goes underneath of the rest of this, traveling down to barely nothing. This main beam here has another stick here that's been broken, but it goes up in, and that is what holds this other branch. But both of these are sitting in the crotch right here, this fork of that smaller stem that comes out of the base. And then there is another branch that is caught into the crotch of that smaller stem with the one branch that traveled out. And that down there shows some age. Okay, because you can see where this is curved right out. See? I'll set it right back in place. Whether movement or what, it's curved out here, curved out there. This has been here a while. A lot of this, almost all of this has been here. That's what this says to me, is that this has been here a while. Now, there's another branch that's in the crotch of the fourth feeder stem out of the base of this American elm. And then this is a dead stick right here that comes up into all this. Follow it right up through. It's right here, right here, and it is underneath of this one, over that one, underneath of this one and this one, and setting on the main support live branch. Then there's another stem that splits off from this fourth stem, so we'll call it the fifth stem off the base of this elm, that wraps around and is cracked right here and then comes up and sits on the notch of that. And then that is this right here. Then up here, there's just a drop twig that's just setting in there. That drops down, and you can see that it ends to nothing right there. Okay. We've taken care of all of the top ones. All right. Just want to get a picture. I'm sorry this video is going to be so long. I don't know if I'll ever post it. Take another picture. Nice, the sunlight's on it. I don't see much of this. A matter of fact, I'm trying to think if I have in research area 2 ever found a grouping of sticks in a lean-to fashion that weren't more than 2 or 3 sticks with an accidental branch that fell down. Because here comes another branch, right? Okay. See this branch right here that's not part of that had fallen? And it is up here in a piece of the live stems of that same elm. Okay. Now again, let's look down here. All right. It's this right here is busted off, and it appears that it may be the end of that right there. But there's others. So there's this right here, and then there's this that looks as if it was standing one day, fell over, and that might have been the start of it, right? It snaps when it hits that branch, or was suspended for years and then finally rotted and then snapped and fell. We have a flock of geese coming over. All right. So then over here, just by happenstance, I mean, this branch falls down on the other side to parallel with it to go up and land on it, as if that you were going to build a lean-to. And that one, if we kind of start looking at what's older than what, this right side main beam to this lean-to is over 1, 2, 3 at least of the other sticks. Now, we have this one, okay, which is this right here. Also this that comes out over and ends here. Oh, careful. And then it goes up through. This is cracked, and this looks like the freshest stick because it's sitting on top of everything and it ends out there. This right here is part of the very beginning beam, and you can see that it connects to the main left side beam. Okay. Now, I probably spent 15-20 minutes the first time And then I was here staring at this thing, trying to think of how to present this, how to talk about it, whether it was even worth talking about. Something doesn't add up. And I'm hoping that you folks with these pictures, if you're interested whatsoever, may take a look at this and try to make sense with what I'm telling you of when each stick would have become part of that grouping of sticks. Because obviously this horizontal stick is very interesting. Its placement in reference to what other sticks seem to have been here first or last. But here it is. It forks off. Part of it goes down into here. The other part of it over to here. It ends. And it ends underneath of this main beam. Over this main beam. Under what seems to be maybe the last stick to fall, so that makes sense. How did it get underneath of one of the first sticks? And how did it get back up here on top of that branch? Okay. Now, I do believe this is going to be the last stick. It starts down there, is the end of it. It's a Y stick. There is the beginning where the two join at the Y and the main beam going up. The other piece of it. Ending there. Which is, well, it is the last stick, but not really. So in that one, this one we're talking about goes underneath of most all of these and is touching our main American Elm live branch, but over what seems to be the last branch. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. Not over. This is the right side, what we'll call the left side main beam. Right there. Okay. Now we talked about the fact that we could see some age where that was worn out, but that stick itself travels down through and ends in the ground down there. So move that out of the way. There it is. I'm gonna go around. Now, I never really seen any like heavy impressions underneath of here, no bedding area, nothing was was laid on the ground that looked like something was bedding down here. I'm sorry, this is really difficult to try to get through here. Sorry about all that. There it is from this side. Get a picture of that. All right. Now, this main elm beam through here, it's got a lot of lichen and moss on it, which is natural, you know. I mean, lichen and moss are all over the place. But I noticed that this one over here was shredded off, be it probably died, you know, it's dead, so the bark's detaching, falling apart. You can see a lot of wear and tear from that branch over the years, rubbing up and down against that. And then right over there is the suspended log in the air, which I really just don't, I think it's just strange looking. There's all sorts of deadfall around here that look strange. But yeah, this definitely caught my eye. I thought it was, you know, I'm thinking to myself, jeepers, I've been waiting forever. Am I ever going to find anything that everybody else, well, I say everybody else, but like, you know, other individuals find that they claim or, you know, or insinuating heavily without coming right out and saying it, which is just the same, that Sasquatch has done that. And maybe they have. So in this same general vicinity, I have, you know, a Y stick, a deadfall that's fallen down, and it appears that it is literally just hanging on there by the point. And, you know, and then you have this big old branch that is, you know, falling down through there. There's all sorts of dead branches and stuff, and that's how the forest works, you know. That's how the forest works. And they're hanging all over the place. Got one hanging out of there. So, but, you know, and I do see groupings of branches that look interesting, but only just a few or four would, you know, be like, oh, well, that's quite a few, but whatever. But 14, that was worth me coming up here and taking a look. And, you know, it's old, right? I mean, there's no way I can say that this right here was placed here because I've been over there. Now, mind you, in 2020, I did a 5-day expedition, and I had base camp on the side of the pond. I was up here for 5 days by myself, and I came up here to the top of this mountain, and I put an apple suspended way up in a tree with a brownie. I came up here 2-3 different times. The first time that I came up here, I had, let's see if maybe I can get into this a little bit. So the first time that I came up here, I found that stack of rocks. Some of the pictures that you guys may have seen, you may not ever have seen a video where I had said I put one softball size rock on top of what it is that I found. When I was up here last weekend, I took that off and left it to remain the way that it was. And I also took care of my firewood, although I never started a fire. I did last year on Christmas Eve. I tried to fix everything to bring it back as natural as it was, and gonna kind of leave that area alone a little bit. I'll come up here and set up, but I'd really rather not make a campsite out of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So what do you guys think? I mean, I guess it's interesting to look at. There's nothing to prove there. It doesn't say anything. It's just interesting. But I'm glad that I found it, and I'm glad that I got to come up and investigate it a few times. I'm glad I got to think about it. I'm glad I got pictures of it and a video of it so that I can keep referring back to it. Because even some of the stuff that may not mean anything now, or you might not think that it's ever going to mean anything, it only takes one substantial thing to happen, and then all of a sudden you start thinking back and you're like, oh wow, now it does mean something. Maybe from a different angle. But bottom line is, I'm trying to see signs of the existence of Sasquatch. I'm not convinced that there's a large population of Sasquatch in the continental USA. Or the continent of North America, Canada, whatever. I sometimes get down and out up here and think to myself, what are you doing? Like, there is nothing up here. And then every now and then I come across something that rekindles. Or I watch somebody's, research material that reminds me how stealthy these are, and if they were leaving a footprint behind, then everybody would be finding them. Well, I appreciate you watching the video, and I hope this helps somebody out. And yeah, thank you very much.